What's up, everyone? Welcome to Week 10. The Bills will face off against the Steelers, but let's review, shall we? Because the question still stands, can they get to 6-6? And then really to like 8-6. The Bills lost to the Chiefs. Jeff Toole played quarterback. Why does this happen? Why does this have to happen? We get this young rookie quarterback in EJ. He's promising, and he gets hurt. And then we get Thad Lewis, and suddenly somehow it works. He plays all right, and then he gets hurt. And then we're stuck with Jeff Toole. Oh my God! I gotta tip my metaphorical hat to the coaching, though. I know some people have been critical of the coaching, and at times I thought the play calling was awkward or weird, strange, funny. Like, what are they doing? Kind of dynamic. But they got EJ ready to play a bunch of times. I know they only have 3 wins, okay, but they got EJ ready to play, and he looks like he at least has an idea of what's going on out there. He doesn't look like he's going to be terrible, is what I'm saying. And then they got Thad Lewis ready to play. Thad Lewis, who is, not sort of a journeyman, but certainly not really starting caliber. And they got him ready to play. And he played pretty well in EJ's absence. And then they get Jeff Toole, who is an undrafted rookie who lost 20-plus games in college. And he was not good. But he was not absolutely terrible. They were definitely hindered by his performance on Sunday. But they did what they could with what they had. They gave Jeff Toole the reins, so to say, and basically said, here you go, Jeff. We're going to put you in position to make some plays. We're going to make some play calls that will allow you to prove yourself to us, type of thing. He didn't do that all the time. He didn't do that most of the time. First couple drives, he was fine, and then suddenly, he stayed calm the whole time, but it was not a good performance, really, by Jeff Toole, which is really what you can expect, especially against a team that's like 9-0, or they were 8-0, and the Bills moved the ball pretty well, I thought. Spiller was fine, great, looking good, not even on the injury report this week. Spiller's back. Jackson, still Fred Jackson. It's good that Spiller's healthy because now Jackson's knee can maybe get a little bit more rest. But they were both really good on Sunday. And like I said, they were hindered by the performance of their quarterback. You look back at one, obviously there's 2 plays that come to mind. One being the interception, which was just brutal. And here's my take on that. I don't blame the call. I know a lot of people were saying, oh, why don't you run there? Well, you know what? They did. Twice. They had 1st and goal to 1 after the pass interference in the end zone on Chandler. They ran out 1st down. They lost a yard. They ran out 2nd down. They didn't get anything. So they threw it. That's not a big deal. Would I have hated if they ran it again? No, because I don't really trust the quarterback, and he made a bad decision. But I don't blame them for throwing because they got stopped on 2 plays previously. And hindsight is always 20/20. You can look back at that in almost any game. There's a situation where it's like, oh, maybe they should have run it there, or a situation where they did run it, and it's like, oh, maybe they should have thrown it there. You can do that in every game because hindsight is 20/20. I don't blame the call. Think about it in their shoes. They had 1st and goal to 1. They got stopped. They got stopped again while running the ball. So, sure, throw the ball. That's fine. And Sean Smith got lucky and good at the same time. Totally blew his coverage on Steve Johnson. Steve Johnson's wide open, and Toole throws it right into his chest. Oh, that was frustrating. But even after that, they still had a chance to win it. Really, it was 13-13, then TJ Graham can't hold on to the ball. I still would have liked to see that reviewed. I think it was a fumble. I would have liked to see that reviewed just so I could get an explanation, even though there's another explanation that I didn't like, which I'll talk about in a second. I mean, Graham, come on, man. Come on. Hold on to the ball. Oh, that was so frustrating. Because the defense played so well. They allowed 9 points. 6. 17 points were off turnovers. And the first tool interception put them in field goal range as it was. 2 touchdowns. So the defense really allowed 6 points to the Chiefs, and we still lost. That is just, it's just brutal. And they still had a chance to get back in it. They're down 20-13, and Goodwin catches a ball. I thought from where I was standing that I saw it kind of bounce when he bounced, but he's still holding it. Like, that's a catch, man. I understand under the context of the rule, even though I don't really understand the rule, what is the rule? What constitutes a catch in the NFL? I don't really understand the rule that much, but I guess in the context of what I understand, I guess I can see how it's incomplete, because when he came down, it sort of bounced and moved a little bit. And, I mean, if the ruling is that because it was not through the ground, he didn't maintain possession through the ground, and it got ripped out by Flowers at the end of the play, that's BS, because he was bounced twice before Flowers came in and ripped it out. But I guess if he moved, then yeah, I guess it's incomplete. But he's sitting, he's holding, he's got it pinned against him. He doesn't lose possession of it, really. I just want that to be a catch in the NFL. It was so frustrating. That was the proverbial wind out of the sails, so to speak. But like I said, I mean, all in all, they were hindered by their quarterback. The defense played amazing. Kiko Alonso played good. Mario played phenomenal, even though he didn't get a sack. He was great, disrupting. Kyle Williams, the same thing. Marcel Darius, the same thing. The corners, fantastic. Bo got loose a little bit on Gilmore, but nothing huge. McCluster got loose for that one pass, but he dropped it, thank goodness. Got a little lucky there. But other than that, like, their longest play, the Chiefs' longest play was 20 yards. After that, they didn't have a play longer than 12. I believe they had 2 plays of 12 yards and 1 play of 20. Those are their longest plays of the day. Like, that's just a game they should have won. Alex Smith was not good. He was efficient. He just didn't make mistakes. But he completed 19 passes for 124 yards, which was terrible. And he doesn't take any chances. He just takes the comebacks, the slants, whatever's there. He just takes what is there. He doesn't take chances. And that's... And they won. He let the defense do it. But I think if E.J. Manuel was the quarterback, I think the Bills would have won that game. I know that sounds, that's obviously retrospective and hindsight again, but the Bills were hindered by their quarterback. That's the bottom line. So they move on. Again, they're 3-6. It sucks. But if the Chiefs are 9-0 and the Bills have the second easiest schedule remaining next to Detroit in terms of win-loss record, the Chiefs can win 9 in a row. They're going to get worked by Denver twice. Worked. But they can win 9 in a row. Why can't the Bills win 6 out of 7 and at least get to 9-7, right? Like, is that so far beyond, I just think that this team is now healthy for the most part. Wood sustained an ankle injury, might not play, he's going to travel. Goodwin's got the hammy, but he practiced today. They're healthier than they've ever been all season. They got their quarterback back. They got everybody on defense. Why can't they win 6 out of 7? Why can't they beat the Steelers on the road? The Steelers are in trouble. I'll talk about that in a second. They could beat the Jets at home. The Jets always play the Bills well. Rex Ryan knows how to coach against the Bills. I give him credit for that. They could beat Atlanta, coming off a bye. They could beat Atlanta. Atlanta's kind of a mess. They can't play defense. They have one threat throwing the ball, and Tony Gonzalez. I mean, Harry Douglas is all right, but And then they got Tampa, Jacksonville, Miami at home, and then at New England to finish off the season. Why can't they take 6 of those games? They can. I don't expect them to, but I can see it happening. It's there. I know they're 3-6, but don't give up on the season yet. I want to keep playing. And it starts this weekend with the Steelers, who just allowed the most yards in franchise history, the most points in franchise history to the Patriots. Ike Taylor got burned by Aaron Dobson. He might not even play this week because of a concussion, but he's been bad. So maybe we even want him to play. I don't know. He's been bad. I mean, the Patriots did whatever they wanted to the Steelers. The Steelers are terrible against the run. They're terrible. They're like second last in the league. And it's surprising, but we have great running backs. So let's run the ball. Let's run it down their throats. Their defense, people think they're like exotic, and because they have Dick LeBeau, they're still good. They can force turnovers. Like their sacks plus turnovers is like 19. I think they've got 13 sacks. Mario has 11 all by himself. They have 13 sacks as a team. I think Woodley leaves them with 5. They have 4 interceptions on the season in 8 games and 2 fumble recoveries. They forced 8 turnovers in 8 games. But somehow people are like, oh, maybe they can confuse E.J. Manuel and force him to make turnovers. Well, yeah, maybe. But how can you bank on more than 1 turnover, really, when they're not forcing them? And they're not pressuring the quarterback. They're not even getting there. 13 sacks in 8 games. That's 1.5 a game. I mean, it's there for the Bills to take. Roethlisberger can be good. He's very difficult to bring down. He's got weapons in Antonio Brown. Emmanuel Sanders, I think, is underrated. Heath Miller's his go-to safety net. Le'Veon Bell's running the ball very well for the Steelers lately. They will probably feed him a lot, but the Bills are not a slouch defensively. They just have to mimic that effort that they put forward last Sunday. That has to be there the rest of the year. And I don't see why it can't be. I think the Bills have more talent defensively than the Steelers do offensively. I know the Steelers have a 2-time Super Bowl champion quarterback, but they can't protect him. He's been sacked 30-plus times in 8 games. This team lost to the Vikings. They allowed 34 points to the Vikings, who were 1-9 or 1-7 or 1-8, whatever. They allowed 55 to New England. They also lost to the Bengals. They also lost to who? The Raiders. They lost to the Raiders. They allowed 40 points to the Bears, and the Bears are a pretty good team, I guess. But you know what? I'm just referencing what's happened. They're a mess right now, I think, the Steelers. That said, you can't take them lightly because Heinz Field is a difficult place to go and play. And, I mean, they lost to the Titans their opening day, but the Bills have to be on their game. The protection has to be there. Because Palomalu was terrible last week. I'll talk about that in a second. But like guys like Palomalu and Timmons and Woodley, I mean, and Ziggy Hood, they can, or Ryan Clark, they can still have a significant impact on the game. So you can't let them do that. Take them out of their element. Beat them up early. Run the ball. Get them frustrated. Palomalu, like I said last week, was brutal. He forced the fumble, and maybe Steelers fans might look at this and be like, oh, remember he forced that fumble against Ridley? Yeah, but he got killed by Brady. Brady killed him. Then touchdown to Amendola. Oh, Palomalu looked terrible. He took like 3 penalties, like offsides, defensive pass interference, and I think he got flagged for unnecessary roughness one time too. He was bad. Can they take advantage of him? Maybe. They might be able to. The Steelers are 4th against the pass, but I think that's, a reflection of how bad they are against the run. And I think the Bills, if the offensive line play is there again, if they protect Manuel, like they have most of the year, except the Jets game, really. And then the Saints threw some pretty good looks at him. Those are Rex and Rob Ryan, man. Can't do it. I mean, I don't see why they can't beat him. They almost beat him with Fitzpatrick the year they were 4-12. They almost beat this team at home. Now they got to go to Pittsburgh. They can do it. It can be done. I really don't even know what to predict. I think it's really 50-50. I look at the Bills and I see a team that, even though they're 3-6, are like hitting their stride, talent-wise almost. Like they had a bad quarterback. They should have beat an undefeated team. They had a bad quarterback. Now they have a more talented quarterback in there. The defense playing as good as it has all year. Spiller healthy. Jackson playing well. You know, I was thinking about picking the Steelers to win, but I'm picking the Bills. Screw it. Picking the Bills, 24-17, your standard score. Bills over Steelers. Guys, comment, Twitter, same as my YouTube handle. Talk to me. Let's talk about this game. Let's talk about the Steelers. Let's talk about the Bills. Let's talk about the rest of the season. Okay? Enjoy the game on Sunday, and go Bills.